Hello everyone, my name is Uthris, and welcome back to another episode of Planet Coaster, where we are continuing on with the build series today. As you guys know, the schedule of Planet Coaster has generally been a little bit of a build. Early in the week, later in the week, we'll do and continue Alpine Odyssey. So if you're looking specifically for that, just check in a bit later, and of course, when we do a stream on the weekend. So if you guys want, you can suggest anything to make on these build Tuesdays, I guess is what we'll call it, kind of going forward. And right now I'm kind of stuck in making little strip mall or outlet boutiques and trying to make them kind of function here in Planet Coaster in some way. We've already constructed a Starbucks. We've also built a Chipotle. So two pretty common kind of American fast food or pseudo fast food and coffee shops for you guys to enjoy. You can put these in, of course, main street areas, or maybe if you have a hotel in your park, that is a good spot for them. But today we are going to be making a smashburger. Now, a smashburger was suggested in the last video by Mass Bandit. We don't have a smashburger over here where I'm at in DC. We have Five Guys, which is pretty much a similar style. It's kind of just a very good, better than fast food, of course, burger that you can order. A little bit more pricey, but the quality with the fresh beef and everything is just much better than, say, McDonald's. So this is going to be a different store kind of design than the other ones as well. This one's going to be more of a center piece rather than a corner. The Starbucks and Chipotle were more corner stores. This one's just going to be a center slice. You could turn it into a corner if you want. You just have to knock out a wall, whichever wall you want, and add windows. But other than that, pretty standard kind of stuff. The only thing that I'm trying to do here that's a little bit different than you might kind of see me do otherwise is these little sections with these pillars and wall sections with the exterior. I wanted to do some more custom brickwork, which is pretty hard to do in Planet Coaster. You know, the default bricks are fine, but getting some more color variation than maybe one or two colors can be pretty tough to do. So we were using the ends of the trim, the brick trim, to give us individual bricks that we could color along there. I just wanted to test it out, see if we can get a little bit more of a slate or a thinner brick kind of look than normal. It's hit and miss with these type of tests, but this is why I kind of enjoy this series a little bit, because it kind of allows me to experiment and extend my repertoire with building, and hopefully teaches you guys some things along the way. Of course, with these structures, we are building mostly off the grid. I think the only grid items in this are the interiors of the pillars out here by the entryway, and then I think the walls have them, but we end up covering them up, and the roof lines. But everything else is kind of, as you see here, a lot of gridless little pieces being slapped on. We're using wood frames to kind of represent the window frames going along here. And it's a nice, clean, all-window front of the store, right? Because the left and the right side aren't going to have windows by themselves. You want to have as many as possible in the little amount of space that we do have. This one is also a little bit different in the sense, of course, that we have an overhang. The storefront is not just slapped onto the side of the building, it actually comes off of the building, which is a little bit different than the other ones. And usually when you run into that with these type of structure, these malls, probably all of them will have something like that, some type of overhang. That way they all kind of match a little bit more. This one, I don't think matches quite 100%. It still works, definitely still works compared to the Chipotle or the Starbucks. However, I think it would look better if there were some more stores next to it with the same type of storefront. That way we can get a row of them in some nice shade. Of course, backside of windows used for the concrete, a lot of these wall facades to get a good texture on them. Smashburger has a nice big sign. It's actually a two-tone logo. So the smash is a white text with black outline, and burger is red with a black outline. Almost kind of reminiscent of what you might see a video game store wise, right? Kind of a Best Buy, or not a Best Buy, GameStop kind of area, which I'm thinking about making. My girlfriend wanted me to make one of those, so that's what might we do in the next episode, make a little GameStop. But so we had to use 2 signs for the smashburger. Pretty normal to do something like that. The only issue is to try and make sure they both fit and are to scale. Another thing is the logo, the text is lowercase. You know, I didn't forget to put a capital letter there or anything. My reference images show that they use lowercase font for smashburger, which I think they're just trying to portray themselves to be a little bit more casual, hip and trendy by not caring about capitals or anything like that. Wood floor, all kind of hand placed in there. We'll spot in a few different colors. We'll add the little push and pull sections to the door with the kind of heavier base. We'll use the rail ties, the center kind of upper part of the rail where the wheel actually sits on. In my opinion, works really well for hinges or things that look like to separate the door from the actual frame itself. So that's what I'm using there. Some icing for the actual push side of the door. So we actually can get that going, or I guess in that case it would be the pull side of the door. We're gonna have a divider as you walk in. I did look at a few interiors, and to me they look pretty similar to Five Guys, if you've been in either. So essentially they kind of corral you as soon as you go inside, so you can go straight to the counter and order, and then they use the rest of the space for seating. We're gonna make some custom seating, little benches going along the little divider as well. Now this is going to be, I use these vertical planks to get those vertical seams specifically to make it look like kind of sewn cushioning, right? Kind of that retro-y style effect that I think looks pretty good. Makes it look very nice and fluffy, even though it's made out of solid wood planks. And at this point, trying to decide on some table looks, realizing that I'm going to make the table smaller than the actual width of the bench, just so that people can get in and out of these spaces. And art shapes are pretty much our best friend with the rest of this build. From the whole little pull-out seats, the normal kind of standard seating that you might see, to the walls and little extra bits going along that we'll get to a bit later. But this one's a little bit more art piece heavy than the other two so far, and that's perfectly fine. I'm pretty used to using these pieces at this point, especially with the stream last weekend where we made a Poseidon, which that was a fun 2 hours, I'm sure. You know, perfect booty all the way on that one. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's an inside thing where basically we gave him a really nice ass. If you haven't seen it, I will go check it out if I were you. Even if you're not into the ass of a man. Alright, so over here we get some more smooth texture going on, just kind of sealing up a little bit of the ugly clipping that you do occasionally get in Planet Coaster. I feel like I'm getting pretty good with these modern interiors. Luckily, modern ones, as we've kind of covered in the past, don't have much overlap in terms of exterior details coming into the interior, so they are easier to keep separate and clean. If you guys have seen my European builds in Alpine Odyssey, where there's a lot of exterior details, things hanging off the facade, generally the interior can look a little messy, and we have to use the kind of eggshell method of constructing interiors. And I still want to make an interior tutorial at some point, but I've kind of made enough of these that I feel like I've covered it all. But if you guys want, I can do that. Over here by the serving counter, there's usually a kind of a semi-arch, kind of flat, just roof decor item that is there to kind of just bring your attention to where you're supposed to order, in my opinion. Again, I have to kind of assume a lot of things when it comes to the structure, since I've never really been into one, and I'm just going off of Google Images a lot of the time. But it has a red lower level, and then usually a white or off-white tan kind of upper level that goes up there as well. and you know, that just kind of builds up some extra detail within the structure, and can be used, I think, to great effect. So if you guys want to do this for like lobbies or really anything like receptionist areas, it's a good effect to use, I think. It's not going to touch all the way up to the ceiling. In fact, the ceiling is going to have a decent amount of gap up there, because this one we're going to be using a little bit of a different effect. Also, I've noticed in the smashburgers, they have a wall that almost always just says smash on it. Now, smashburger, not burgers, just smash. Okay, I mean, that's fine. I think it usually points to the condiments kind of area, but I don't really have room to do that here. So shame on me. I just assume they all get their condiments on their burgers with this whole vendor and stuff. Adding a little bit of a wooden trim along the bottom, adding some flat panels just to tie it into the other structures as well, because that's some sort of wall decor that we've been kind of maintaining in all of these. And just some trim, make this little back section more of an access door. Doesn't have to be fully functional, don't have to actually get people to go back in there. And then we're going to be making some lights, and I've noticed on a lot of these, the reference kind of shows a kind of this paper lantern kind of effect going in a lot of areas, held up by a lot of cables. So the upper area is not only just piping and the classic industrial look that we've been doing in the other areas, but lighting, cables, a lot more thin pipes and a lot more of them, so that it looks even more busy. And here, just making sure everything looks good at night, which is something I'm gonna have to start doing in Alpine Odyssey at some point, putting out lights and stuff. Pipes going into the roof, some pipes going into the wall, and some going straight across the building, because of course when you build these structures they generally share a lot of their piping, and it's just all one building, just with individual stores. We're gonna add a texture to the roof using some windows, and that's basically it for the smashburger. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead into the real-time section, take a look at it, show you guys how well it can fit into the other pieces that we've made so far, with some minor editing, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Give me some great feedback and ideas for next episode. Okay, so here we are, taking a look at our smash burger. This is a nice spot. It does have a chief beef in here and a monsieur feuds, so you can get your burger and fries in the store at the same time. I guess we're gonna start with the interior since I'm in here. Very simple, clean, kind of modern-esque. A lot of art shapes for the walls, so you get a little bit of a sheen to a lot of them. Some, large art piece that just says smash. We got some wooden trim going across just to break up some texture. We got a hand-planked kind of floor here, a divider, of course, to keep your guests separated from orders to actually dining. Some kind of paper lanterns, or what should be paper lanterns. There's not really a whole lot that I could have used in place of just a solid art shape for this, but this should be, a partially see-through lantern there with the light maybe roughly in the middle. But hey, to get these work, sometimes this is what you gotta do. We got extra seating along the wall. The only benches are over here. I would assume that they could have done benches on this side as well, but I think I just wanted less benches and more just classic tables. That's perfectly fine. Some upper lighting up above some of these art tiles, and then of course the very busy kind of upper area with pipes, cables going across for lighting fixtures, and just everything looking real good, I think. A little bit of a door to like where the kitchenette area is as well. Out here we have, of course, a little bit of a sidewalk space. Unlike the other areas where we had kind of a more outdoor seating area, this one is not. Again, this is kind of a center store for our strip mall outlook boutique kind of mall area, and so it's gonna have a little bit of a different profile than the last ones. Custom brickwork going along the exterior here with smooth plaster where the sign is for Smashburger. We get a nice plain kind of heavy stone building otherwise, which is perfectly fine. This is exactly how this is going to be done. They're not going to care necessarily about how these modularly fit together per se. They just know this one's going to be in the middle, so they don't need to worry about all this detail along here. And you can kind of save part count by doing that, and all the detail is right out here on the facade of the structure. So that's really good. Now, even though I do say we are saving part count, it's still a 2146 part count structure, mainly due to kind of hand placing a lot of little tile pieces. Even these columns, a lot of these are hand placed and hand tiled, just to try a different brick effect than we might have gotten to do otherwise. So over here, you'll see kind of a couple placements. So we have, of course, our Starbucks that we made first. We also have our Chipotle. And then that leads straight into the Smashburger. Now, you know, everything kind of starts jutting out from here. And I would say if I were to continue this kind of layout, the next one might have maybe a different facade, but the same sized facade, just to continue that across so that we don't get a whole bunch of ins and outs. It's up to you guys though. You can also customly move these in and out to get different effects if you want. Like, for example, I can bring this a little bit closer so the glass at least lines up. That could be another option for you guys. And of course, with the outdoor seating, that kind of sits in and kind of makes the sidewalk a little bit wonky at times. So there's that side. And then, of course, you can use it over here like so. You will have a gap because the Starbucks was not really, I wouldn't think people would be putting structures on this side of it. So you might have to finish up this patch, but that's pretty quick to do. You can just copy these over and just seal it up relatively quickly. And that's really not much of a worry. And this side looks good as well. You could just kind of move the sidewalk over. Maybe think of something to tie the overhang into the building, but that's kind of up to you. From above, it does kind of look like or starting to look like a bit of a Outlook mall. So there you go. That is the Smashburger. If you guys want, go ahead and smash that like button. Go ahead and leave a comment down below and tell me what you guys think of this. Also, give me ideas for other things to make in this Tuesday build series. Go ahead and subscribe for more creative goodness. Go ahead and join our Discord in the description down below. And I will see you guys in the next video.